Welcome back to Outnumbered Overtime. Jesse Waters, our one lucky guy on the sofa today.
Yes, I have an announcement to make, everybody. This was the best outnumbered experience I've had so far. I've only done it a few times, but so far this was the best time.
I thought you were going to say you were leaving the O'Reilly factor to go be an ice boy. Was it even better
I'd
the
crack
time
my head
you wore
open.
a short suit?
No, well, you know, that was a little chilly in there that day. That'll never happen again. I was freezing and hungry. Poor working conditions that day.
I think that would be a fine report for you to do.
You want to see me in the short suit, don't you, Kennedy?
I want to see you as an ice girl.
That's an ice girl.
Oh, there was a rock star thing you were going to tell us about.
Yeah, we want to hear all the dirty MTV stories.
Oh, you have the best stories ever. Okay, so Axl Rose, which I thought when we were talking about Axl Rod, it was Axl Rose, and you said you have a Guns N' Roses amazing story, which I want to hear.
No, it was an evening spent in Robert Evans' bed with Robert Evans and Slash.
Oh, really? That's it?
It was just
Slash nice?
Yeah. Is who what?
Is Slash a nice person?
He is so nice. I don't understand the rift. Well, no, I do understand because Axl Rose is crazy.
Okay.
And Slash is a really nice person, but he doesn't have patience for Axl's nonsense anymore. And then you have Duff McKagan, who is the salt of the earth. He's the Guns N' Roses bassist, and he really believes that he can be Switzerland and bring these two sides together.
Do you think he's right?
No, because I think Axl is bat poop crazy. I think he is absolutely out of his mind. Look at his face from too many chemical peels and his bad ginger braids.
Okay.
Did you touch Slash's hair? Yes or no?
No, I
What
don't,
is
I don't
it?
believe that I did.
Is it an afro or is it like a Jerry curl?
I think he doesn't use Soul Glow. I mean, I didn't accompany him with his.
I thought you were in
bag.
bed with Slash. Wasn't that the story?
Yeah, but we
Did he have
weren't
his
at
hat
the
on?
Clinique counter.
Did he have his hat
have his hat on? Yes, he did.
Does he keep his hat on his bed? That's interesting. I didn't know
He did
that.
for this. It was a conversation. There was no.
Oh, that's what you call it. Just a conversation.
There were no leather garments shed.
Okay.
During this interlude.
Okay.
You're going to get clobbered, Kirsten, for, I guess, we have the same point. They're probably going to be like, we knew Andrea Tinteros would take that point. But Kirsten Powers on the sororities, not drunk.
Yeah, it is frustrating, you know, that you get portrayed as like a pro-rapist or something if you think that girls should not be wasted drunk in a fraternity house, which is, of course, not what I think. I think that men are responsible for their behaviors, but I think we also have to remember that we are dealing with young people and a lot of alcohol, and that both sides need to be treated as equally culpable prior to going into that situation. You know, prior to going into that being told, we're only telling the boys, really. You know, that you need to do this, you need to do that. Well, what are we telling the girls? I mean,
here's the problem. I kind of disagree with you because I think the subtext of the article is bitch had it coming, and I think that's really dangerous. The big problem is that all this federal money is now being sent to college campuses to assault boys for sexual assault, or young men, I should say.
Rape whistles, etc.
Yeah, and the idea that you are guilty until proven innocent on a college campus, and regardless of what the police say, the university can still punish you. And the Obama administration, along with Kirsten Gillibrand and other lawmakers, want to funnel tens of millions of dollars onto college campuses to further go after men, which doesn't help the problem.
Men have it so hard. God.
But I also want to say, like, I'm not endorsing that article, but I am endorsing free speech and debate. And so I do have a problem that it just seems like every time someone says something controversial, there's this hysteria, and the person has to either be driven out of polite society, or the article has to be taken down, and
they have to be sell the Clippers.
But isn't that? But
you know, but it's just like, just have a conversation.
Lord's Cave,
fear, Jesse, because what happens is you have these groups tweeting, and sometimes it's just 5 Twitter accounts, and they're sending all these nasty tweets. So they try and intimidate a company like Forbes, and go after their advertisers.
And it's very effective. They do these mass media campaign pressure deals. They did it with Limbaugh. They've done it with Fox News, and they're very effective because these corporate suits, they don't know the difference between real groundswell outrage and like a bunch of nerds writing in this like
Media Matter said that I should blanket your Twitter feed.
Great impression.
Thank you.
Right, so they don't know the difference, so they cave at the first sign of controversy.
Do you want to weigh in on the fraternity sorority thing now that we're uncensored?
Listen, when I was in a fraternity, I felt a thigh. It was, we had girls come over, and
I hope it was barbecue night.
I felt a
Is that a
thigh.
euphemism?
I felt a thigh.
What does that mean?
I felt a thigh. That was the name of my fraternity.
Like, I felt a thigh?
No, that's really offensive. No, but there is a fine line between when a girl comes over and she's down to party and blackout drunk. And if you're drunk, you don't know where that line is.
Oh, you should know where that line is.
Yeah,
you should. A passed out girl is not ready to party.
If she's making
right.
eyes
Well, there's
with
a difference between being face down on the
Blackout
floor
drunk
and being,
and
you
a
know,
little tipsy.
woohoo, and
Big
then like 10
difference.
minutes later you're down on the floor.
Okay, what if she's like making eyes with you and grabbing your arm and wants to go to your room? Are you supposed to say, I guess, no, you're too drunk?
I say I'm saving myself for my wife. I'm a virgin and I will not even touch you.
You are
See,
so
Waters
full
was
of
a
it.
weird
Waters, what fraternity were you in?
I was not in a fraternity. I was not allowed in a fraternity.
Shocking.
They didn't want me near a fraternity.
I was pregnant at UCLA, and I wanted to do Spring Rush just to freak them out.
Yeah.
Because I was 32 and pregnant, and I had this massive belly, and I so badly wanted to go.
You're 32.
They wouldn't. They couldn't turn me away, and I just wanted to go like, "Hey guys, who wants to party? Where's the pre-funk?"
Yeah, let's do a keg stand.
Exactly.
Oh, God. Honestly, it is somewhat of a serious subject. I think college campuses are, you know, they're under a lot of pressure to deal with this kind of stuff because apparently it's a lot worse now than it was.
And now they're trying to integrate these houses. They want women and men to live together in the same house because that's
they're called
fair.
dorms.
That's worse. I mean, if you integrate fraternities and sororities, that's
live
worse.
with a college guy. You
We're
guys
disgusting.
Are disgusting.
Right, we're disgusting. We're filthy animals.
But like girls,
messy.
we were talking about how girls need to look out for girls a little bit more too. I mean, I know that in my sorority, in addition to having a buddy system or we had a DD system, or it was also kind of like you were embarrassed if people found out that either you like crashed at a fraternity house or, you know, walked in stumbling.
The walk of shame.
But as Andrew was saying a couple weeks ago, the walk of shame is no longer shameful.
I was just saying, my
That's a
husband just
bummer.
said that the other
Yeah,
day.
it's
Like,
not.
we see him walking down the street. We live in Lower Manhattan. We've got a place in Chicago where these girls walk by and it's nothing. They've got a Starbucks in their hand.
They're coming from church, Sandra.
Or Derek
black
Jeter's house.
eyeliners.
They don't have to dress up at church.
If they've got a basket of Yankees gear, then you know that Derek.
It's like an okay
At a
thing
home
now.
run.
You used to be like embarrassing. It's not anymore, I guess.
Yeah,
No,
let's bring
9
back
West is
shame.
using it in shoe ads. That's what we were
That's
talking
right.
about.
That's right.
Like if you do the walk of shame, at least make sure you're in heels.
Yeah, they had shoes, and they say these shoes are perfect for your walk of shame. And so now girls are like, oh, wow, that's great. Where it used to be very stigmatizing. You didn't want to have to do it. It was embarrassing. You didn't want to have to stay over at the fraternity because you didn't want to have to wake up the next day and be like, hey, guys, and run into the guys in the back.
It's a double standard,
So
too,
I've
because
heard.
when I did the walk of shame on the way back from the sorority house, I mean, I slowed down. I took my time.
Waving to everyone.
I was,
You had a neon sign
doing
over your
shout
head.
outs. I was doing everything I could to make sure
finger.
someone saw me.
Oh, my God.
Stormy Waters, you are something else.
Nobody ever got a guy into our sorority
Yeah, we
house.
get booted.
Any other things that we didn't get to go
Well,
over?
Jesse said this was his favorite show ever.
did.
It was. Mostly because of you, Sandra. You
Oh.
were electric, as per usual.
Millennials shying away from marriage. There was a good discussion in the commercial break after that one with, what did you say? You were talking about men and how they live at home in their basements.
Jesse said that. I said that
It's sad.
people are wounded by their parents' divorce, and they want to save up for the big princess wedding. Yay! It's only going to cost $40,000. We don't need a house.
I know what it was too. You were talking about Tinder and the hookup culture.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Which is
that's
sort
what
of
it
what I
was. Yeah.
tease about why buy the cow when you can get the
Yeah.
milk for free. These guys can just call up girls and be like, hey, want to come over and have a
Disposable
Bud Light?
relationships, but that is such a huge problem that we didn't talk
Is
about.
that all it takes, a
Disposable
Bud Light? That's the
relationships.
kicker.
I mean, I need a little more than a Bud Light. Kirsten?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a consumerist attitude about dating, right? And just sort of going through, you meet all my little criteria for now, and then the minute somebody does something that you don't like, then it's like, oh, you're out, move on to the next person, kind of looking for, for the person who's already made it, unlike what you were saying, where you met your wife and you were just starting out, and you're both just starting out, and you grow together, and you build a life
some
together,
of the best relationships are built on that struggle when you're eating cheese for dinner, and you're like have quarters, you're scrounging
Ramen
for
noodles.
quarters, you can't eat, you're doing your laundry
Jesse,
somewhere
what is
else.
going on?
That's
You're
nice.
an
It brings you
anomaly.
together.
You're an anomaly. So Kirsten's right. Girls do you match up? Do you check all the boxes?
Yeah.
Very
Guys
few guys
do.
check all the boxes. I don't think women should lower their standards. Is the problem with men that they're not manning up and being more like you?
All guys could be like me. No, I think there's a part of it that's economics, and guys have no money and they have no jobs and they can't even buy your dinner, let alone save up for a ring. And it's hard to score when you're living at home. Can't bring her back. And like you said, it's technology. You have the world at your fingertips. You're going through hot chick here. She's downtown. I'll take this one off. It's like a la carte, you know? And people put it off and they put it off. Then all of a sudden you're 33 and you have no real relationship to build off of. And then you start thinking, oh man, now I got to hook up with some 22-year-olds. And then there's that cycle where no one's married. And then the whole culture starts decaying. I don't want to get all corny, but you got to have people married and having kids to have the country grow.
Very interesting perspective, Jesse.
It's deep, wasn't it?
Thank you for letting us into
deep.
Do you think the ideal age for a woman to get married is 22 and for a man it's 33?
I knew you were going to
Not what I said.
Right, that's it for Outnumbered Overtime. Thank you for joining us on the web. We'll see you on TV tomorrow at noon Eastern.